All right, everybody, welcome back to Minifandom, the best KMS fan podcast in the universe. I am, of course, your host, Menas, and we have a special guest. Well, this caller made quite an impression when she called into KMS a couple of weeks ago to tell Kirk about Steve Robinson. So joining me is Cait. Cait, welcome to Minifandom, and congratulations on your network debut.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. And I'm honored to be the weirdest caller of all time. It's an honor.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I want to get your origin story, get the story behind that batshit crazy call. But every minute fandom starts off with taking care of business, which is a tribute to the New Hampshire cast. One of the great podcasts Chris Clemmer and Ethan did a long, long time ago. R.I.P. New Hampshire cast. But I've decided in the last couple of weeks, mainly with the decision to bring Dave Cullen back, I'm going to kind of lean into Minifandom a little bit more than Mena's Live and Mena's Minutes. I'm not saying they're going to stop completely. I know John from Scranton is very, very upset with the thought of Mena's Live stopping. And it's not stopping completely, but I'm just not going to do them as much because there's only so many reaction shows I can do where I just go on about how bad the producers are, and they're never going to change. They're always going to be really bad. And there's so many great things about KMS, and I think Minifandom is a more healthy avenue. It's a way of celebrating the fandom. It's a way of celebrating what's good about the show. You can sort of go off in tangents a little bit more. Whereas Mena's Live, you're reacting to the show, you're taking calls, people calling in, asking for my hot, searing takes on KMS. And, I think for my own mental health, I don't want to be the guy that's just always, rabbiting on about the show, about how bad it is. Because as I've said, it's not a bad show. It's fine. Dave and Justin are hopeless at their jobs. The show is just cruising. Anybody that's listened to some of the really hot periods will know the show is at about that 70, 80% level at the moment, which is fine. I shouldn't complain about that. It's still better than 99% of podcasts around at the moment. So that's why I want to lean into Minifandom, celebrate the fans, celebrate the community. And Cait, what a perfect start, to have you on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to be here. I obviously didn't imagine this a month ago, sitting here and talking to you about the show. I made a impulsive decision on a run to say, you know what, because I do. I listen to the show and call in, and clearly, I mean, it was misinterpreted. I confused Kirk, which was kind of funny in itself.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm introducing him to Steve Robinson. And hey, you win some, you lose some. And then the second call after that just so happened to be somebody that knew me, and it kind of just spun from there. And yeah, I've been introduced to the miniverse and many funny people, and it's been fun in that sense.
Yeah, so you seem quite keen to throw yourself into the Miniverse. You're quite interested in doing fan content. You love the show. I'd love to get you in there for Bitches Week. So yeah, where does that come from? Because like some people in the community would know your social security number now, your address, all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, definitely. I've had like the same person request me on one of the socials 40 times. I've counted. And honestly, I just, delete it every time. But I think that goes with the territory and the world we live in. But back to your question, I believe in diving into situations where I'm uncomfortable.
Yep.
When I'm uncomfortable, which is any situation that's unknown, I've always grown from it. And even on that call, like I didn't think it would even connect. When it was like, hello, I was like, ugh. And you can just like that adrenaline and just that stuff makes me tick. And like I said, embarrassing or not, like it was a dose of humility, but at the same time, I find it to always end up being a positive experience in terms of growth. I think you should always throw yourself into situations that you're not familiar with, that can challenge you. And, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen kind of thing,
Yeah. So what is your Minifan origin story? When did you start listening to the Kirk Minahan show, I guess specifically?
Yeah, so I've been following Kirk. So I interned in college. I went to UMass. I interned in college at Entercom WEI, and I was not in the production side of it. I was in sales. So we supported at the time the Dennis and Callahan show, which was, I think it was definitely number one. And I was just amongst that environment. So I followed. I still stay in touch with some of the former people that have gone through the ranks at Entercom. But Kirk kind of came into the picture, I want to say a little bit after. I believe he was in production, and then obviously took John Dennis, Dennis's place. And then it became the Kirk and Callahan show. My family, my dad, my brother, everyone in my world has been a diehard Kirk fan. So that too has kind of thrust me into following him. But just kind of like his story is so unique to be able to navigate the changes in the media landscape, especially in such a competitive market. The highs and lows of his resilience, the ups and downs, like has drawn me into just being more of a fan of, pretty much anything he does, because he's an entertainer, it's really a lot of it. And
I go back to when he was at EI and he was very open about his mental health issues. That certainly brought a lot of people close to him when you're, that open about your struggles. And obviously he lost both of his parents while he was on radio. Then, I think that did engender a lot of loyalty, sympathy, closeness.
100%. And even, people talk about the Aaron Andrews situation too. And, there's more to that than people know. It's like, someone was let go that had been there, a veteran, really good at their job. And there is something to be said about, kind of people, just the way those types of big business legacy media works. They'll just chop you, throw somebody in. And his intent, I don't believe was, I don't believe he had ill intent in it. And a lot of what he stands for, people might not want to hear it, but it has a lot of truth and value behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Minifans, they will tear you apart. They will pick every detail apart.
I've
So
noticed.
I want to get the timeline straight. So you were following Kirk at Kirk and Callahan. Then you can't have moved across with him to Barstool, because then you would know definitively who Steve Robinson was and the fact that he was Kirk's producer.
That's kind of when I checked out.
There must have been a gap in the middle.
Big gap in the middle, just life. My life kind of took a different direction where I was kind of not in, I just wasn't following so much. I got lost a little bit, came back. I would say
like a sheep that's strayed away from, like a little sheep that's strayed away from the herd, and then, you've come back.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've definitely come back. It's actually, I got kind of tired of the Barstool content. I think it became kind of, to me, I'm of a certain age. I'm at a certain point in my life where I just no longer, I felt like it was catered very much towards a young crowd.
Yep.
It no longer offered value to me personally. So I kind of just pushed it aside. When Kirk came, he signed the contract with Barstool. I missed the, obviously, Steve Robinson element, but I came back about, I would say, like last fall, early winter. And
what brought you back? What brought you back? What brought you back?
Just just falling back into it and kind of missing that the humor and the entertainment. I didn't have something that I was enjoying regularly, or that I can watch and actually laugh out loud in certain moments. There's just something, there's like, love him or hate him, there's something about him that is no one else has. It's just unique. There's not another Kirk Minifan. Minifan. There's not another Kirk Minihan. There just isn't.
Yeah.
And
so Minifan's trying to tear the details apart. So this story is checking out, Cait. You were a fan. You knew him at EI.
Yep.
You went to Barstool. You kind of dropped off. Didn't really listen to KMS for the first few years, because if you did, you would 100% know who Steve Robinson is. You came back last fall. I can confirm you followed me on Twitter, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. So it's not like you've just come back into the world. You've definitely been listening for a while.
Yes,
and I can actually see, if you've been listening since last fall, you could kind of miss who Steve Robinson is. I mean, Surprising, but
Yeah,
you
because
could.
I wasn't tuning into every single episode. I wasn't immersed in the X community and all the socials. It would be like if I was going for a long walk, if I was going for a
Mm,
run, that
yeah.
kind of stuff, where I'd put that on and I would
Because if like what you can, like, there are some Minna fans like myself who will listen to every episode 2-3 times to just get all the little details and the mentions and stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And to be on the from the outside looking in, it's a little bit of like you almost feel this I don't know, this gatekeeping element a little bit,
It's
in the
not good.
sense that it's almost like, I'm pro Kirk. I'm pro the show. I want to see it do well.
Yeah.
He talks about the next 5 years, right? And it's like, I want to see that go like this, not like that. And that's just how my mind works. And
So I don't. I think the gatekeeping. I think Kirk's really conscious of trying to keep that down, because he even said it when they were
I
talking
would
about
think,
MM. When we were talking to about MM, which we'll get to, he was like,
yeah,
"She's a new fan, so what? That's great. I want new fans.
right.
It doesn't matter how they find me." I would say though that where the Minifans get a little touchy is where people start claiming to be, old fans when they're not. So, for example, there was a guy called Matt Carano who claimed to be a fan since he was blogging, since he was writing the
Since he
baseball
came out of
cards.
the womb, kind of thing.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and they will sniff out bullshit so quickly, Cait, so quickly. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's the thing. I mean, I'm very, very forthcoming in saying I'm certainly, clearly, after the call, but just in general, I would say it anyway. I don't know every detail. I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to embrace that, because there's a lot of people. One of the things, Kirk transcends, genders, ages, demographics. So that's kind of something that you wouldn't necessarily know, or some of the
Mm,
fan base doesn't necessarily understand that. Like, I have a lot of people that I know in my world that are big fans,
yeah.
and they aren't in the X space, but they're definitely listening. Um, so I think that's important. And I think, I would think, if you're pro Kirk, you should be pro numbers. You should be pro growth, pro sales, pro the show, and
Yeah.
let's bring people in.
I can see the stats for the Minifan network, and it is 98% male and 2% female at this
Yeah.
stage. Do you think that's about right for the fan base?
I
For every
absolutely do. And
Yep.
even if even just looking at my analytics on X, just that pretty much what you just said is exactly my follower base, which is pretty much the algorithm of the Kirk Minaj show.
Yeah.
So yes, I do. But there's a lot of women out there that I know their husbands or their boyfriends or their friends listen. They'd actually get an absolute kick out of it. And and the women that I have interacted with, honestly, they have been great.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed them. They've been good to me. And I
Fantastic.
respect that and I appreciate that.
The Minna ladies are fantastic. I met a lot of them when I came to the Wilbur, and yeah, for some reason Kirk does seem to draw in these super attractive women. So it's there's not many of them, but the ones that are there are extremely pretty.
You have to be a rare breed, though, because I mean, like, honestly, he's a very intimidating human being.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I mean, I feel like after that
women
phone call,
kind of like that. Women are attracted to that kind of strong,
yeah. At the
powerful.
same time, they also don't want to throw themselves out there and then have their not necessarily as a result of Kirk, but have their lives or just things aired because of, I don't know, someone gets a little sensitive over something, but that's part of it. That's part of it. So you shouldn't dive in unless you're willing to kind of dive in. And I guess I learned that a little bit the hard way, but I don't regret
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
regret it.
and that's good because you can't, because the cat's out of the bag. You went on and said your full name and where you're from.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And to Kirk's credit, I am that was absolutely retarded.
Yeah.
I think it was the wind blows west and the ostriches fly north, and yeah, I get it. But to my credit, I am a woman. That was one thing I do like to. This is a nice opportunity to address that part.
Well, the thing
I
is,
am female.
I think the Minifans are fantastic, and
They
I'm
are.
sure there's some creeps. I'm not, an attractive woman
There's
who
creeps
has
everywhere, Manners.
exactly. That's what I'm
Everywhere.
saying. So there are no
This world's filled
differences,
with creeps.
but there's a lot of love in the Minifan community, and they bust each other's balls. But they do
That's the
embrace
love
people,
language.
they throw their arms around people. Exactly, it is their love language. All right, so you listened to it last fall. You really started to get back into it. And then you decided to call in. You were just running and thought, hey, I'm going to call in and tell him who
I've
Steve
thought of it
is.
before, when I was running, but I missed the opportunity. And I remember hearing taking calls next, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to do it sometime. I put no thought into that call, obviously.
You can tell, yeah.
Really? I didn't think so. I'm kidding. Obviously, yes. You could know. I mean, I just was like, boom. And I didn't think it would connect. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it ended up being funny. I mean, stuff like that's fun. Have fun with it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's fun. Like, you just had no idea Steve was connected to the show in that way. So you must have thought what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, what did I just do? But it opened up so many different doors to so many different people, personalities. I now know different, spin-offs and different personalities that I wouldn't have known before that are hilarious. And I've had a lot of laughs.
Good. What about the reaction to the call? So I thought it was good, actually. I thought Justin was smart of him before he hung up with you to ask.
I mean, I was like, of course I'm pro me in that sense. And I'm like, shut up, Justin. Like, if you just kept your mouth shut, this wouldn't, I'm kidding too, when I say that lightly. That wouldn't have happened, but you're absolutely right. He didn't miss it. He was actually, you're right in that sense too. His wheels were turning. He caught it and no one else was.
Well, I think everyone caught it, but Kirk was just going to let it go.
They were just confused.
Well, yeah, Kirk was just going to let it go as just some dummy that called in. But Justin wanted to know, like, is this a joke or are you actually being serious? So.
Yeah, no, it was not a joke. It was me thinking I was making a point of whatever I was thinking at the time. Shout out to Steve Robinson too, because I do actually, I follow him now from a totally different, his journalism work.
Excuse my French, but he's an absolute cunt. Just so you know.
Honestly, is he? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, he's an. I mean, look, I'm biased because Steve and I had a horrific rivalry because he was not suited to producing the Kirk Minahan show, even less than these decrepit individuals now are. He was even less suited to it, and he was horrible to the Minifans. He would dox people. He just wasn't for him. This world was too messy for him. He's a control freak. He's a gun guy, but. Yeah,
he's very political. You know what I mean?
Very competent. Very competent.
Yeah, so I could see that maybe not that having its clash for sure. That's why I was surprised to know I had, it was his. Obviously, I'm not going to reiterate the story, but it was that work, the marijuana industry in Maine work that.
Just such a waste of time, Cait. There's so many other things. There's so many other things a journalist could be doing right now. Going after a few Chinese weed houses in Maine is such a waste of resources. You've got Charlie Kirk getting shot in the fucking neck on a campus, and he's out there trying to bust Chinese weed grows. Give me a break. I mean, it is just waste of time. It's not a waste of money because I know it's not taxpayer funded or anything. So if people want to pay for it, go for it. So the history is one of my most enjoyable Kirk Minahan show events is I uncovered that Steve Robinson, with the help of some other Minifans, I uncovered that Steve Robinson had deleted some audio of a previous episode, which Kirk hit the roof about and then suspended him for a week, which was fantastic. It did lead to a lot of trolling in my restaurant in Sydney. My Google reviews with the Robber fans took a bit of a hit, but it was
Google
worth
reviews
it.
At one point were like, yeah, I'm very familiar with that, the SEO and all that kind of stuff.
So anyway, Steve Robinson. Okay, so good call. And I get the picture now. You want to just throw yourself into the Minifan community.
I was just like, hey, it could have been like, hey, it's 85 degrees and sunny today. How you guys doing? Like, it could have been anything.
Well, welcome. I want to get you in there for Bitches Week. There's so many open spots, even if they do it, because I don't know. You'll notice now that you're back. Kirk and the producers say a lot of things that they're going to do, and then I would say it's a 1 in 5 strike rate of things actually happening.
So it's interesting you say that though, because I'm, again, I don't know everybody, there's a lot of names. I'm still getting to know people. But as for the women population, the female population of followers, I mean, there's a few, there's there's Anastasia, there's
Mama Kay, Lauren
Nurse
Lynn.
Kay, who's, I mean, she's obviously a dynamic personality herself.
So the OG is Lauren Lynn. She's the original Queen Minna lady.
Okay.
But she's sort of taken a back seat in the last couple of years. Mama Kay's probably sort of been
Veronica Vaughn, but she's
yeah, she's not really a huge Minna lady. She's getting more and more
busy with her work.
Yeah. I guess there's a bit of a sort of line in the sand. About a year ago, as we say, Nurse Kim's and Dave Cullen's relationship was pretty close, and then
I followed that.
A few more people started to drift in and sort of mingle in with the Minifans. And they're all horny, desperate middle-aged guys, so they've been loving it, the Minifans.
Yes.
But before that, Mama Kay's sort of an OG Minna lady, Lauren Lynn, Robinson's B&B, Allison. So there's but the crown is there to be grabbed, Cait. Like they need a leader. Mama Kay's focused on her Billboard Rewind podcast now. The Minna ladies need a leader. Minna ladies need somebody to keep shit together. I mean, every group needs a leader, so it's there for the taking.
I think it would be cool to get some women that can hold their own up there, but they shouldn't be treated like they can't be treated differently. They've got to dive in, and just like all the other third chairs, sit there and take because otherwise it's not interesting. It won't be funny, and it won't be fun.
So I know you're planning to go to Sacco. Will you take a rape whistle or mace or just a shotgun? Like, what are you going to do to protect yourself?
Into those things that Howie Carr actually is advertising. I think he's a sponsor of those, guns that don't kill, but yet they.
Oh, yeah.
They can. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I would say take one just in case.
But no, I mean, that's what I want to do, because I want to connect with people. I miss connecting with people face to face. That's what makes me happy in life. That's how
the Minifans will want to connect with you. Don't worry.
I'm gonna need security, but that's how I really understand people, and that's when I'm in my element. Yeah, for sure. I haven't adjusted so well to this type of life.
Well, it is a beautiful, loving community, and I'm only joking about the shock. I mean, I'm half joking. You never know. There's a bad apple in every group, so just
Menno, what do you think about spaces though? Because I actually see value in it, and I know that's kind of a controversial type, topic with Kirk. I know he's not a fan, or he said it before, but there is a lot of positive that comes from that at times, not all, obviously.
Well, the way I see spaces is there, and it actually works in well with Minifandom. They're a great way to engage in the community. If you don't want to put your face out there, if you don't want to do a show, if you don't want to call into the show, spaces you can jump on any given night, and Pat Ford will be there, waiting for you. His kids will be desperate for food and water, but he'll be there. Don't worry.
I'll be honest, Jake's actually had some really funny ones that I know there's been ones that have gone wrong, but last Saturday night I tuned into one, and this woman Cece, she's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I know who Cece is.
Yep. Again, just minimal interaction, but from my experience was great. But there was a lot of laughs, and it was all positive. It was well done. But not all are created equal, obviously. There's some benefit in it. I don't know. I don't know where I see it going, but I think it gives people an avenue to continue to bond, discuss, but obviously we both know that it doesn't always turn out that way.
It's just a digital hang, and I love it when people can just hang out and chat. Most of the spaces are really good when it's adults just talking, but then there's a few people that if they come in and they're in a bad mood or they're not getting the attention they deserve, they just end up yelling and screaming and waving their arms for attention. And, there's one person, Jake in particular, who always, it's only a matter of time before that happens. But the thing is, okay, Jake's not a Minifan. This is what I just, like, I don't even know if he listens to much of KMS. Like, he's one of John from Scranton's degenerate friends. Like that, like, we have John to Scranton to thank for this fucking degenerate person in our lives now. But I will say it is a job hosting a space, because once you turn it on, they can go on for hours. They can be addictive. You can suck. He
does have some good thoughts. I will say that. Like, I know. I mean, I've listened to them. I've seen them go bad, but I've also heard some thoughts that actually, to me, like, spark my interest. But
yeah, okay. But the thing is, when you've heard somebody just be an asshole, like Jake's, 1,000 times now is just, gone crazy and started yelling at people. So you give people a number of chances and then it just wears thin. Like,
yeah, and I'm new, and I'm still just like, the way my whole motto is, everyone, unless you're coming for me, like, I'm gonna be.
That's fine. I'm not telling you not to hang out with Jake. I'm just saying.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, like, literally, generally speaking, amongst the group, because that's part of the fun, a little bit.
And I'm glad you brought up spaces on Minifandom, because I was going to put out a bit of a message. If you're a Minifan and you listen to the show and you want to sort of have a chat with some Minifans and interact, it is a great way of dipping your toe in the water. It's not
necessarily being utilized the way it could be or it should be, to its full.
I think it would be great if you could simulcast it onto like a digital radio, and it'd be like late night radio, because
yes,
it's so many Minifans fall asleep to it. Like during summer, there would be like 20, 30 Minifans falling asleep to it. All right, we are coming to you on this is September 11th, and a really historic day in American history, and I think we should pay our appropriate attention to it. Mutt was finally hired by Barstool.
You might not like this, but look what I have.
A slut for Mutt. There you go.
Now I'm a fan because he's old school EEI.
Yes,
the loyalty there. And listen, I that's my take. And it's about time he took the job. It's a no-brainer. Like, obviously take it.
Absolutely. So,
but I'm happy for him.
So am I. And people have been messaging me for some reason, messaging me that I would be upset that Mutt took the job. This is really good, because part of the reason I was hating Mutt more and more is because he wasn't taking this golden opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. I'm not someone who's ever had an ambition to work for Barstool, ever. It's just not been in my dreams or checklist. But I've seen in the last 5 or 6 years, if Dave Portnoy offers you a job, it's kind of a golden ticket. So you have to take it, whether something you really want to do or not. Like, if Portnoy offered me a job, despite the fact that I've got a successful business and I'm enjoying what I do, you have to seriously fucking consider it, because it is like it's like a dream job. You get paid to just fuck around. You can do whatever you want. There's no strict rules as long as you work hard. I mean, Clemmer's content is fine, but it's only mildly successful. KMS is only a middling podcast in terms of listener wise, but Portnoy is loyal. He keeps promoting it. So if you're Mutt, to have said no to that for so long, it was just crazy. So people like trying to say that I would be really upset about this. I
think I narrowed it exactly on that. You were just like, you take that opportunity, you seize it. Like,
yes,
carpe diem.
Exactly. And I like Mutt's annoying, and I don't particularly like him as much as I used to, but I'm glad for him. And I think it's good for the show, because there's only so long the same plot line can just be rehashed as, Mutt, are you going to get a job? Mutt, are you going to work for Barstool?
Couldn't agree with you more on the same plot line and just continuing. I that's where we're like, to pivot off of what you just said, like, I'm someone that like needs, I don't know, like, whether it's a shock factor or something, like new faces. And that's aside from the whole Mutt, aside from Cullen, Kirk's gonna want to work with who he wants to work with, but for value of the show to see it do well. Like, I want to see some new ideas, and I'm curious to see, you know, where it's going, where it's going to be going in the next 5 years.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad Mutt took the job, but I've got some bad news for you, Mutt. I know you didn't want to work for Kirk Minahan, but if you
Now
watch, but I watched that interview and that pitch. If Kirk wasn't there, you would not have got the job. Kirk and Whitney begged Portnoy to give you the job. Kirk in particular has moved heaven and earth to get you a Barstool. And you don't think he can just click his fingers and take it away like he can? If any minute he can just go on the Unnamed show and say, Mutt is not doing anything. He's a degenerate, Dave. You should not renew his contract next year. So I know Mutt didn't want to be beholden to Kirk. He didn't want to work for Kirk. And I know Dave Portnoy is going to be signing Mutt's checks, but I'm telling you, Kirk owns Mutt now, and it is going to be so good for the show. It is going to be back to when Kirk was the fucking king shit at EI and Mutt was just a nobody, and it is going to be great. And I would actually love Kirk to take a week off KMS and Mutt to guest host, like when he used to guest host for Kirk on Kirk and Callahan. But yeah, Kirk owns Mutt now, and it is so good. It is so good for the show.
Succumbed.
Yeah, Kirk is going to torture Mutt. It is going to be fantastic, and I hope Mutt is a success. But you know, looking at everything,
I got the feeling Mutt was like traumatized.
Yeah,
and he was like, it was like mental health or career, and where does it lie? Somewhere in the middle, and we got him back.
Yeah, and Kirk has laid this beautiful honey trap for Mutt. And, you know, it's helpful for Kirk because Mutt has no other opportunities. So, you know, Mutt just couldn't resist the honey anymore because he literally was facing working at Lowe's with Ted Sellers as his boss next year. So he went for the honey, and now Kirk owns Mutt. It is fantastic for the show. It is the little spice that the show needs now, that little bite, because if Mutt doesn't think Kirk is going to torment him, then he's fucking delusional.
More Justin too. Like whenever we get into like Justin, Legoland, and like Mary, like I'm enamored. I'm all in for anything Justin when he's, you know, when he's reading the porn like titles out loud. I'm crying laughing. I don't know if it's his voice, his presence, or whatever it is, but there's something he's like the gift that keeps on giving. I say it all the time. He's a gift that keeps on giving. So you like
Justin?
I think he's essential to the show right now and in what he brings to the overall humor and laughter and enjoyment. Yeah.
What did you think about his bizarre comments, though, about Mick and Kirk having some gay relationship?
Oh, right. So I think Justin is upset, like he's so young in terms of mental maturity that he's literally thinks like unfortunately for him, like Kirk is like the only like he thinks the world is Kirk and that's it, and he wants all the attention and credit and anything all Kirk. And like I think I posted something like his dream would be to like retire with Kirk and be in love with Kirk. I think if the attention or Kirk shows any kind of, you know, liking of another personality or character, that Justin feels like, you know, his heart's broken. So maybe Justin's in love with Kirk. That'd be my analysis.
Interesting. That's not what I was expecting.
Like, I don't know, but there's with Justin,
I think it's more like a daddy issue. Yeah.
The mental beatings he takes, like, gotta give him some credit. He's getting like Mike Tyson's like every time, like, and I'm like, ooh. There's not many people that would sit there and endure it for Kirk. Like, I mean, I personally, but then again, like, I love Justin for that. And he just says ridiculous shit. I can't explain him. I don't know anyone like him. He's a grown man. I can't explain his mind, but some of the shit he said, I've just died laughing. Like the fun time episode.
But what about some of the shit he said about you when he just came on and said all that bullshit about you?
That. I called him out. Like, I don't look like, this sounds like terrible to say, but like I came to the realization, like, I'm not going to quarrel with someone that's like like we don't have the same IQ and like just general intelligence. So I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth. And that sounds like, I mean, that sounds what it is, but it's what I think. And there's like that part of it. Like he's literally like a 7th grade boy
Yeah. No, you nailed
thrust
it.
into like the big leagues. And I think, you know, he says and does things to, I guess, in the moment he thinks he's probably like doing the right thing, and it backfires on him a lot. So
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. I was like, I wasn't happy about it in the moment, but I got over it real quick.
That's good. He's sold a few Minifans down the river saying just bullshit on
He'll sell
air.
anyone if it gives, you know, if
But that is his
getting him
job.
closer to the one love of his life.
But that is also his job, is to antagonize people for content. It's interesting that, and this is why Minifandom's, you know, a great forum for long form discussion about the Kirk Minahan show. And if you're a listener and you want to come on and talk about KMS, do reach out. But it's great to have your fresh perspectives on the show, because
Thank you.
Justin, he's been around for a long time. He started as an intern in 2020, probably. So he's changed a lot over the last 5 years. And you've sort of just come in recently and you're sort of seeing the version of Justin we've got now. He used to like the show a lot more. He used to be a lot more outgoing. He used to be a lot more, I guess, extroverted in terms of things for content. And I've noticed as he's got older, he's got a bit more arrogant. He's got a bit more sensitive to criticism. He's an ego. He's a
little overconfident at times,
exactly.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and he doesn't do. And look, I'm not going to get Minifandom into shitting on the bridge, but there's a lot of issues with his production where he could improve. Like, just even if you just take a positive Andy Mayo type growth mindset and just not even criticizing what Justin does, but anybody can go, okay, I can get better at my job. But I don't think Justin ever has that thought once that he can get better at what he's doing.
No. And also even just the other day, like kind of dragging some people through the ringer in terms of how, like, how they spend their life outside of the show via text message. He thought it was a good idea. It was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That was a perfect example where I was like,
absolutely.
Ooh.
And he said some stuff about a good friend of mine, Darren Cunningham, on the show that was just kind of slanderous. He said stuff to you that was slanderous. He's made up stuff.
I think Justin is like an idiot, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
so you bring up when he was shitting on MM and stuff. Mick.
That's what I mean. I mean, I was like, when that happened, I was actually, genuinely mean this. Like, I was like, that's not right, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah. So
especially from him.
Yeah. So you go into spaces. Pat Ford. Did he go too far, do you think, with some of the stuff he wrote?
With what part? I mean, there's so many people that like take it there. So my threshold is becoming like larger by the day.
I know. He just was very mean to MM in that text. There wasn't a lot of humor. It was very mean. I feel like
there's more to that story. Like, it wasn't there's jealousy when there's attention diverted, maybe, but I don't know enough of the backstory.
Yeah.
To give like a real analysis. But yeah, no, it went too far, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. And Mick was very
happy for whoever's happy out there. You know what I mean?
I was listening to Beyond Average podcast this morning, and Mick was very, very annoyed about that. And
I heard
as
that.
I said, I thought it sort of went a little step beyond being humorous. And Pat Ford is a degenerate and he's a terrible parent, so it doesn't surprise me that he would spend hours writing this essay about a lovely person in space as MM. Nobody's perfect. She's can babble on a bit, but she's a lovely Minifan. And she knows as much about KMS as most fans. She listens to old shows. She watches content. And Kirk was right to defend her. I mean, this is one of the rare occasions Kirk has defended a woman on 100%. KMS.
And there was also something I caught on to, even from like just being newer to the group. A Barstool writer or whatever, I like definitely know that is not true. So that's an untruth that's thrown out there. And if I were her, I wouldn't be happy about it. And if I was Mick, I wouldn't be happy about it either. But hey, that's made up though. It's not true. It's not grounded in reality.
And yeah, I find it hard to criticize Justin for reading it out though, because
he's a puppet.
And that's his job. His job is to antagonize and put things in the world that are going to get things going. So I do get that, but I actually get Mick's point. Why didn't they at least try and call Mick after that message? Why didn't Kirk or Justin say, let's call Mick and he can respond to it?
100%.
Yeah.
There's none of those like those thoughts that like hunger for like let's like in that's kind of starting to, and that does fall on, you know, Justin. You know, and
he's the producer.
Exactly.
Yeah. He doesn't. Just on Justin as well. So I don't know if you caught tomorrow's show, Friday. They're doing. I don't know what time they're starting, but they're starting early because Justin's got an urgent doctor's appointment. What I don't understand is, couldn't he have just waited?
Tell him to get a doctor's note.
Well, couldn't he have just waited until Cullen is back? Like Cullen comes back next week, and then you can just say to Kirk, look, you can do the show whenever you want, but I might have to go to the doctor. You'll be left with Dave. I mean, especially for a phone call Friday, it doesn't matter if Dave's there or
absolutely. I mean, that would be like the way you'd look at it, especially because he's consistently there. It's kind of interesting. And if it's an emergency situation, it's emergency, and that sounds like that's weird. Yeah.
So, and it just goes with him taking a holiday a few weeks ago. Like he's kind of checked out and he's taking this job for granted. As I said, I wouldn't
he's very comfortable.
Yeah, I would never have booked a holiday if I'm the sole producer unless I had people to cover for me. People have asked me why I haven't been to the US this year. One of the reasons is I'm producing quite a few shows. I don't really have anyone I trust to cover for me. So so I can't do it. It's like, unfortunately, I'm responsible. So
it would be great to have you on the show.
No, it'd be great to come. Hopefully next year. I'm sorry. I will come to Laconia next year. It is happening. The wheels are in motion. So, but yeah. So I just thought, like, Justin, like Cullenane's going to be back next week. Just go see the doctor when Cullenane's back. Even if you have to leave one day just a bit early, Cullenane can finish the show. So very, very strange.
Do you think Justin and Cullenane enjoy working together?
I do. It's very comfortable for them, but it's just two lazy people making each other lazier. It's incredible.
I mean, Cullenane's ability to not give is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he's been like, and that's kind of part of like, I mean, to be honest, I think that's funny in itself. I mean,
I don't want to get into it, but I guess I will. And then maybe you can help me.
The whole producer thing that recently happened.
Yeah, just like my feelings of sadness, disappointment, my morose depression about Cullen coming back, because it's the hope. Having hope is something that keeps people going. You think about people who suffer in the worst things. They always say it's the hope that keeps you going, and the fact that I feel like we're in a hopeless situation now, like that Cullenane's back. He's never going to leave. Kirk says he's going to leave, but I think we're just stuck with him forever now. He knows he's on a good wicket. He's got a good job, a comfortable surroundings. He doesn't have to work hard. Kirk has said you can work less than you worked before. And, it's just made me very depressed to not have that, even the hope of something exciting. I mean, that's
how I felt. And you would know more than me with that, and you're way more invested in that sense, so I could see how that would completely bum you out.
Yeah.
You want to know, like, the next 5 years are, like, going to bring you, like, more.
That's it. And like bringing PRC or John Dales. It would have been exciting.
The worst.
Oh, yes.
It's the worst.
And I guess, I love Kirk, and he's very smart. But it frustrates me seeing him make a series of bad decisions like this. And even the thinking behind his decision just to bring Cullenane back because he was good on air is such a lazy decision. And I get it. He's got all these fucking idiots coming in his third.
He doesn't want to take the chance and invest the time and energy into someone new.
Yeah, but it's such a lazy decision. And it just sort of sucked a little bit of the passion. Not for the show, but I don't know. It was like a wet blanket on my soul.
Sometimes like fresh blood really is needed.
Yeah.
And like that overhaul isn't like, it's a lot of work, but it's the return, right? Is the goal.
Yeah. Maybe Justin's close to breaking point. I don't know. I just can't see Justin ever leaving again. It's so comfortable for him. He lives at home. It's good money. He's a bit of a star. He's got his inflated ego. So that's
Yeah,
what's
he really
depressing.
has developed quite the ego, and that in itself makes me laugh as well.
Yeah. So that's what's depressing is just the future doesn't look particularly bright. It just looks fine. And
There's
I
been a
want
couple ideas thrown out, like just in chats and stuff. Like someone, I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if he wants me to throw the idea out, but I'm not going to take the credit for it. But I thought it was funny. Was like a Minahan, and if I'm happy to share it afterwards if he wanted that. But it was a Minifan speed dating show. Be hilarious.
yeah. Oh, they've been talking about that before, like a dating.
Yeah, just like stuff like that. Like I don't know. I like little like.
Don't get
I'm
your
like,
hopes up. Don't get your hopes
I'm a
up.
thinker. I like ideas.
Mm.
I thrive off of ideas and
Yeah.
just like.
Well, KMS will squash that eventually.
Yeah, no, yeah, probably.
So yeah. Anyway, and where are you on the third chair situation? You told me you said in the spaces you weren't a big fan of Blind Mike, but has that changed now that he's not there?
Yeah, it's changed. It's changed. I think there's a little bit of an element where like Kirk can like say anything and he's like over the top, like thinks it's so funny, but like at the end of the day, like no, I'm not anti Blind Mike. He seems like a great person.
Yeah. But what do you think about the third chair? Because I was saying on Menace Minutes,
I need a little disruption.
Yeah, but I think Kirk and the crew needs to really rethink the whole show because now that Blind Mike's not there, I don't know if the show works just bringing all these kind of loser Minifans in.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a tough situation because like you can bring some people in, and one thing is like it could either be great, it could go two directions: great, complete shock, disrupts the whole thing, everyone loves it, or it can be the complete opposite. So there's risk.
Yeah.
But the comfortable thing isn't working.
No, because I like bringing in new Minifans, but I think you need to just sprinkle that out. Like I think you need a real sort of strong core of people who can sit with Kirk and make the show really good. And then you can bring in maybe once a week, a fourth chair is someone like who was on Today's Show. And I can't remember his name, but he'd had the accident and, he didn't, I don't think he was bad. He didn't add a lot to the show, but, I think one of those a week is fine, but we seem to be getting one of those a day at the moment. And, you got to admit, Blind Mike and Kirk are funny together. And
yeah, they enjoy each other a lot. They have great moments. I definitely agree with you on that for sure. They're on the same wavelength a lot of the time for sure.
So, I mean, if I'm Kirk and the producers, I'm thinking, what is our strategy moving forward without Mike?
I love that question. First of all, I would think about, first of all, like sales and sponsors, and like we got Milton's. I'm a sales oriented human being. Like that's my background. So I'm always like I like the hunt of new business. And Milton, it's just Milton's, which by the way is great. I am pro Milton's, meaning it has its space in the, at least in the Massachusetts market. It does very well, and they're good there. But like, there's no growth with that. And I'm always, I come from the old school, like philosophy that the sales support the talent, and they both bring,
don't get caught, Cait, don't get caught up in growth. I'm telling you, it's a mistake. I get caught up in wanting, I get caught up in wanting KMS, the show, to grow, but
have to let that go.
If Kirk doesn't give a shit about growth, if Kirk doesn't give a shit about his social media, I showed you all on Menace Minutes. The social media is at the worst state it has ever been for KMS. Now, if you want to grow a show in 2025, it needs to be through social media. And in fact, a salesperson can go, and when they're selling your podcast, they can go, we have, 20,000 listeners a day, plus we have 50,000 TikTok followers, which gets X number of views a day or a month, and you can sell it all. But Kirk doesn't give a shit about that. It's okay. I'm telling you, don't waste your time, because I
I'm
guess
not going to waste it. It's
no, I'm just telling you, after the producer search, I'm really down on Kirk because, he's not as a person, but just like, okay, so you had these great opportunities and you went for Cullen. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I don't know what, even just like talking about what he wants to do when he retires, I think like as a listener, you're just like, you jump forward to 5 years and you're like, he's already getting that
KMS
bookstore.
will be going for 20 more years. I'm telling you, Cait, he's never going to give it up. He's a worker.
I can see that too, though.
He doesn't even like golf that much. He's not a lazy person.
No,
I
not at
guarantee
all.
KMS in 10 years could just be me and Kirk recording on Zoom. Like that's where it's just going to keep going.
100% agree with that.
would have retired. Barstool will be gone.
Well.
What?
He does anything he takes on, he does well. He's the reason I would watch the Ryder Cup. He's the reason I watch Surviving Barstool. He's, you know what I mean? So like when he takes on the case, for example, I mean, look what he uncovered with Sandra Birchmore. These are all insanely like awesome. Like anything he takes on, he does well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, and I agree with you. He's not going to be sitting at some old bookstore.
No. And I would like to.
I like bookstores, though.
I would like to produce for Kirk one day.
I would love you to do that.
It's it's difficult, but one day. But anyway, he prefers Dave Cullen, Justin Trudell. So
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I can't work it out. Honestly, can't work it out. I actually think it's a blind spot. Everybody, and it's actually good to know because Kirk's so good at everything, but he's just not good at running this show. Like he's leaving money on the table all the time.
100%.
Because I always say it's like the Beatles, right? The Beatles had George Martin and he took them to fucking the moon and back,
Yeah.
And Kirk has never had that. When he had Ken and Curtis, who were very competent producers, he was the #1 radio personality in Boston. If he had a really good producer now, he would be 5 times more successful than he is right now.
Do you think that has to do with what they pay? What Kirk or Barstool's willing to pay?
No, because if Kirk wanted to, he paid Steve Robinson. Basically, he paid Steve Robinson a really good wage. Say,
I mean, we know Mutt's
say it was 100.
Mutt's salary is like talked about live. It's hilarious. Yeah. Those are like typically.
Yeah. I think Robinson was around 100, 120K a year. And then when he left, Kirk went, okay, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 dummies and pay them like half as much.
You chop it in half and I get
2 dummies. Like obviously Steve came from the Howie Carr show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a blind spot and I can't work out where that blind spot comes from, Cait. I'm not really going to be Kirk's therapist.
And I feel like he's such who's influencing him, right?
I don't know. I don't think anybody. I don't think any good influences. And
I agree.
So I think there is also a little bit of a control thing with him, which 100%. Makes sense. With his running and his diet, and you would have his depression. You'd have a bit of OCD, and I think he does like being the king and just moving Cullen and Justin around like his little pawns.
Absolutely agree with that one too.
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to bring up? Any other favorite episodes? Any personalities we haven't mentioned?
I brought up the Justin ones. Like I love the Mary one. I love the Lego one. But I like the Friday parody ones when like there would be like songs like Lady Gaga, like the Cullen song, like the recent like I'm a cold man.
Oh yeah.
That's another one. Like I like stuff like that when they go into like music and like and also too, like I can't stress enough, like the calls are important. Get those calls coming in.
Yeah.
Not all are good, but the ones that are good are hilarious. And like, I don't know. I think that the calls, taking chances on a third chair.
So with the calls, they used to take calls every show. Cullen
I
checked
love the
out.
calls. I'm
So
a big
Cullen
call.
was producer for 2 years as the head producer before he left, and then he came back as the second producer. When he was the head producer, after a year, he completely checked out. And after about 30 minutes, they would just run out of topics because he would go to boston.com. Kirk didn't want to talk about any of that. So after 30, 40 minutes, they were out of topics and they would just take calls every day.
Yeah.
Then they stopped taking calls completely because they took
That
too
kind of
many.
shuts out the like it
Yes.
shuts out that
So-
like bringing people in and like
So
allowing
nice-
for that
yeah.
collaboration, which I
Mm.
as a fan find very fun. You know,
I also think it adds to the show because you get little bits of information that
For
fuel
sure.
the show, the storylines. So I suggested when they would bring calls back, just make every Friday a call-in show so
I
people
like that.
know you can call in on a Friday, and they've been doing that, and I think it's going well. You actually just twigged something that I had to release an official statement from the Manners Consulting MCG. So when I was on with Kirk during the producer show, I talked about doing a social media video. Kirk kind of bullied me into it, and I'm not going to do it. But what I want to say is about the social media video is Cait's a perfect example, right? Cullen's coming back for the 5th time now. It will be really fun if you had 2 hours, because it'll probably take 2 or 3 hours to do this properly. Cut together some highlights of Dave coming and going into like a 1-minute TikTok video and posting that on all the KMS socials. So someone like Cait goes, oh shit, I didn't know Cullen worked for Kirk at EEI. I didn't know Cullen was the head producer after Steve. I didn't know he's come back 5 times. Like, you could do that. But the thing is, and this is what I tried to explain to you, they take work. Like, just posting a clip of the show is the laziest social media.
Ugh.
So to do a video of Cullen coming and going, it would take, to do it properly, as I said, maybe 2 hours to go through, find it all, cut it all together, 2-3 hours. I think that something like that is of real value. If you did, a few of those videos a week, or, just of like going through the backstory, even like ones about Justin. I was actually going to do one roasting Justin, but then I thought, why the fuck am I going to spend 3 hours of my valuable time doing a social media video when Justin and Cullen should be doing it? I know I can do that, but that's my thing. Like, there's
I'd
so
like
many.
to be in the parking lot when Justin's getting out of the car.
Yeah, or like fucking make a video.
Sort of kidding.
Make a video of Pat Ford being a degenerate and post that on your socials. Like, there are so many opportunities in KMS to grow the show, bring people in. So people like you and sort of fringe fans that want to get closer can catch up a little bit. I mean, we're 6 years into the show. There's so much content, but it's just they don't do anything with it. So my official statement is, I just want to make clear, I'm not doing that fucking social media video because, unlike a lot of the people, I have some fucking pride. I will do a lot for Kirk, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours trawling through video clips, cutting it together. It is hard work, which your fucking producers should be doing, not mine.
Right, I agree with that. And you know who puts out good content is Mikey Grab Bags.
Yes.
He's ahead. You know what I mean? He's thinking ahead. He's taking something. He's got a creative juice.
It's funny,
he's spinning it into something of quality.
But do you get me
that content.
Do you get me about all the storylines? Like, there are so many little storylines that you could use for great little videos and content that they don't do.
No. Nope.
Yeah, and that's how you grow the show, because how I got onto Kirk was, and I've said it, I listened to, an EEI podcast. It was probably an interview with a Red Sox player with Kirk and Jerry. And at the end of it,
back in the Wild West.
Yeah, before they went to the break, this was on the podcast, Kirk said something about someone had been an asshole or whatever he said. He said, but after the break, we're going to do it. He did a pro tease, and whatever he said, I was like, fuck, I have to hear what this prick said. And, go and listen to the next podcast episode. So, that's what the show has the potential to be. Anyway, any other favorite episodes, any other Miniverse personalities or topics you want to bring up? The floor is yours, Caitlin.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the appeal, and it's like, I'm going to quote Jim Murray recently stated, I root for 2 things and 2 things only: failure and funny.
Yeah.
And now, I don't want to get like caught up in like the failure part, but like, there's something to be said, like highlighting, like, people like that. They like the shock factor, the controversy, and I think I laughed. I just love the line. Like I root for two things and two things only: failure and funny. But there's a lot of like that element. Other
Well,
episodes
I
that
think
I've
a
enjoyed.
lot of people in media put it on broadcasting and podcasting, put on a
There,
mask, put on a sort of mask when they go on air, and they become a slightly, artificial person. Whereas Kirk is so genuine, and
great point.
he has bred this community, where you've got freaks like Montante and Pat Ford and all these sort of people, these degenerates that are, come in and out of the show. You name it. There's hundreds of them now, and
I think that's what's most appealing about Kirk, and I'm glad you brought that up. There's zero phony
yeah,
there, and that is so rare with the pressure from management, and especially at like an Entercom and Odyssey, or like back in like the days of like the legacy media, like to remain true to who you are, like, and ride that through and through. That's like something I respect very, very much.
yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's get on to listener questions. The Ted Sarandis Memorial Listener Questions segment. So, Cait, you might not know who Ted was, but Ted passed away in January. Great Minifan.
Oh,
He
I'm
was a
sorry to hear
huge
that.
fan of this show. I've been in touch with his son quite a bit recently, and I was thrilled to see that they went to the KMS basketball game and met Kirk, and were able to talk to him about Ted. Ted was such a huge fan of the show, and he used to send in about 6 questions for every Minifandom. So, we're a bit thin on the questions today, but yeah, just thinking of Ted Sarandis. I know obviously losing cinema was so upsetting, but we lost Ted earlier this year, and
Yeah, I'm
he's
sorry to
always
hear
in our
that.
hearts at Minifandom. All right, so first question from Ricky Slicks, aka Yellow Shirt Guy, who had a very funny tweet after Scott Doncaster was in, who did some pretty tough things to read about. Yellow Shirt Guy tweeted out, and people will still hate me more. I've got a little soft spot for Yellow
Whatever.
Shirt Guy. So, Cait, go back and Google Yellow Shirt Guy. He went on KMS. It's a very famous appearance, definitely an episode worth listening to. And then he came on Minifandom that night, and the 3 episodes of him going on KMS, him coming on Minifandom, and KMS reacting to him on Minifandom is great content. But he's got a question for you. Do you know who Blind Mike is?
I do.
Yeah. Did you ever come across him when he was at EEI?
No, I don't remember him at EEI, but I do remember him getting handcuffed by Bradley Stein.
Nice. He was a street teamer.
Okay, so they kept me away from the street teaming. But I'm familiar with that.
Okay.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
So you illustrate a great point of mine that, Mike has slowly drifted away from the show now, whereas like for me, KMS is Blind Mike and Kirk, but it's clearly not that for you.
No, I just feel like they're in their own, like they're friends, and like I feel like there's like that.
They're not
like,
friends. They're not friends. They're not friends.
Oh, they're not at all.
No. Famously, they never message off air.
That's actually really funny.
Mike was a huge Minifan when he was at EEI, completely obsessed with Kirk. And then when Kirk came to Barstool, basically Mike started working for Kirk and then had a mental breakdown, went away, and has sort of come back in this part-time capacity.
Yeah. I do just feel like sometimes it's just like they're in their own little world, and like I don't know, it just doesn't draw me in for some reason. And it's nothing personal against Blind Mike. But it does seem like, everything that like Kirk says, like they love each other's banter, and like they're like, it's simpatico, and it is. But yeah, I don't personally connect to it, but it's nothing personal. I do know who he is very much. And knowing that he's old school WEI, I love that. And I honestly wish him nothing but the best.
I think Blind Mike is Kirk's best co-host. I've said this before. He's definitely.
Can I ask why? I'm curious, because I don't. Again, like I have a small. I'm
just their comedic. just their comedic timing now that they
Okay,
know
yeah.
that they're on the same wavelength when it comes to jokes and doing bits. And I just really like the way they banter. And Mike, Mike's a huge Minifan, knows everything that's going on all the time.
He
And
seems loyal, genuine, like, yeah, pure.
Mike's just very funny. And he's, yeah, him and Kirk can just riff about anything. And some of the
It does.
funniest,
I agree with that for sure.
some
I
of
can
the
see that.
funniest bits in KMS history are just Kirk and Mike. Like, no one's
Yeah.
as funny as those two together.
Yep.
All right, Kane is able.
I heard.
What do you
I
think?
know where this.
What do you? Okay, yeah. And I was going to tell you, next. Well, it's too late now, but just next time, don't react to the tweets. You got to react to them on the show. Like that's
Good advice. Thank you. And I realized after
It was a rookie move, but I woke up. It was too late. You'd reply to everybody. Are you a Kane train fan?
Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. What is going? Like, who is he, and what's his situation? Because
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of wild stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just curious as to what his deal is. It's a
Just
good question, though.
Another big Minifan. He does a lot of network shows. I think his kids have done school sport with Mutt in the past, so he sort of knows Mutt. But yeah, he's one of I think he's a polarizing Minifan. There's a lot of Minifans that really love him, but there's a few that really hate him. Anyway, his question is, which WEEI radio personality treated you the worst?
So to be very, very honest with you, there was minimal interaction with the talent. I remember like my first day, I was introduced to Dennis and Callahan and like brought into the studio, and they could have cared less to even give me like a second. And I'm just like, at the time I was like, whatever. But it would actually, so for that reason, I cannot answer the question, because I would say that I was more like going into meetings with the Celtics and going into meetings with, like, I remember like the first day, like Julie Kahn, for example, like being in a meeting and being like, whoa, like what's going on here? So I was removed from the talent as much as I was next door to it. So none of them were going out of their way to say, like, the salespeople, totally different. But there would be someone in management that I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
But 100%, yeah.
Sleaze bag. Yeah, but that's not surprising.
Yeah.
Jerry Callahan never like gave you a little slap on the butt as you walked past or anything?
Never.
Okay.
Couldn't be bothered.
Would you have like been okay with that?
No, I really wouldn't have like enjoyed getting my ass smacked by Jerry.
Good.
Yeah, no.
Good. All right. B.A. Ford. Next question from B.A. Ford. Is digital pussy an epidemic in the Spaces community?
No, B.A. Ford's going to have to ask Rock.
He's going to ask Rock that one?
Yeah. No, I think
well, it's for both of us.
He's always asked, B.A. Ford is digital. Like, what does he mean by that?
Okay, well, I guess I'll answer the question.
Layman's terms.
Good question, B.A. So I guess if you sort of looked at the Minifan community, as I said, 6 months to a year ago, it would have been a real sausage party. Just, not even 98% men, probably 99.8% men. But since, for some reason, sort of Nurse Kim, and I don't know, there's been a change, and, there are a lot more women, interacting with Minifans, coming into the spaces. And, there are some Minifans that are lonely, desperate, fat, in a basement, and I think they get really excited by this, and maybe they go a bit far. So yeah, I don't think it's an epidemic, though. I think I don't
think it's an epidemic. It's a situation.
Yeah, I mean, Montante famously said to me once that there is a lot more Minifan on Minifan sex than you would realize.
I agree.
So
not like, I'm just like, witnessing and stuff, but like, yeah, I could say that that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, like DMs have like probably filled up a lot.
Yeah, like Kirk said it. Like, I'm certainly not going to be sleeping with any of them.
Good.
But hey, like when I say that too, like I don't mean that in like a.
Well, of course you're going to say that.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I don't know, I don't knock anyone that does or will or whatever they want to do.
There is a Minifan wedding coming up that has been kept quiet. I am not going to say who it is.
That's awesome.
Montonte spills the beans, so it's not me. But yeah, there is, I think, a lot more Minifan romance out there than people know about. But
Is
no,
it
BA,
real
it's
though?
not an
Like,
epic.
is it grounded in like real life, or is it just not like all
Well, I
like
think
fake
getting
news,
married's
like,
pretty real, Cait.
online? Yeah.
I think getting married's pretty real. Like, I think
Oh
putting,
yeah, that's real. That matters.
I
That's
think,
big.
I think like fucking someone is pretty real. Like,
That is pretty real. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, BA, no, it's not an epidemic. This is Kirk beats Callahan. Picks, please. I've often said that if a Minna lady started an OnlyFans, they could make a lot of money. But that's my comment. Kirk beats Callahan has just said picks, please. So you probably your Mama K gets like requests for feet photos every day from Minna fans.
Does she really?
Yep.
Does she have an account set up with OnlyFans yet?
No, but you know, if the Minna ladies ever wanted to like make money, it would be an interesting experiment. But you know, if Kirk kills Augustus for starting a Patreon, imagine what he'd do if the Minna ladies started OnlyFans. You'd have to offer Kirk a cut. You would have to say,
Yeah, of course.
like, we'll give
So,
you a
good
slice of
old
the pie.
negotiation.
Yeah. All right, next question. D. Thomas Howe. Will Kirk ever forgive Justin, or will he continue to ride him till he leaves
Ride
for
him.
Chicago? You think so?
I hope so. But yeah, I do think. I don't know though, because that's actually a good question. I'm going to take a step back for a second.
Well, my opinion is now that Cullen's coming back, Kirk's got no option but to ride Justin because he's the only one in the gun. You know, Cullen's come and gone. Kirk can't just then like bully Cullen to leave again because he just fucking rehired him. So I think Kirk is going to bully Justin, knowing that, look, if Justin
Looking to
decides
push him out.
and if he decides to walk out, Cullen's there to record the show until he brings in PRC or Dales or whoever applies.
I watched an episode the other day where Kirk made him like leave and then go like, because he was like pronouncing every town and city in Massachusetts, like Leominster, for example, Leominster, in like Haverhill, Haverhill, and like
Yeah.
just so he like had him go into like the other room and like read things aloud, and then like that was a funny blind mic moment actually, as they sit there just laughing their asses off at it. I'm not saying that's like, but it's for my viewing purpose, like that stuff's fun. It is funny, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, I think Kirk is going to ride Justin.
I hope so.
But I don't think Justin wants to go to Chicago. That's what I think maybe is the missing piece of the puzzle here. Because
I
that would
agree with
mean
you. I think he'll be homesick in like 2 seconds. I don't think he could do it.
he's on such an easy wicket now. He can live at his grandfather's. He can live at home. He doesn't have to pay rent. He can, you know, probably save money. I mean, if you're earning, you know, he's probably earning 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year.
He has no expenses.
Which is not enough to live off normally.
No.
But if it's in Boston, but if you're not paying rent, like, so if he went to Chicago, obviously you get a pay rise, but still you go to Chicago and you're getting 80 grand a year and you're paying rent. Yeah, it's going to be totally different lifestyle.
Absolutely. I don't think he could handle it either.
Yeah. All right, last listener question. This is to me, Dave's dead dog. Is this the girl you said you were going to fuck? I never said I was going to fuck Cait. I said in this space, it would be good to have a Minna lady girlfriend. And it's still true. This was like in the throes of my depression about Cullen coming back, because then you could be in bed with your partner and they'd be going, why are you
You did say that, I remember.
You know, why are you depressing me? Oh, you know, I'm still depressed about Cullen. Like, they would get it. They would understand. You know, if I said that to my current partner, she would go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Does it always have to be about KMS?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, she just wouldn't get it. She'd be like, what are you talking about? All right. That is all the listener questions. So I like to wrap up Minifandom with a little bit of a segment. It's a tribute. It's called this segment. A lot of segments are tributes to dead people, but this one is a tribute to my former co-host, dead parents. My former co-host, Red, his parents both died, are both dead now, and you know, we do a movie and TV segment for them to pay tribute to them. So yeah, R.I.P. Red's dead parents.
Absolutely.
So ladies first, what have you been watching? I don't know if you watch much TV or movies.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's funny because I'm like everyone, like I'm kind of a worst nightmare with that because I'm tough with what I like. Like I like to revisit an old show that I like more. Like what's out there now is tough. I'm I'm anti-committal with things, so I love like a
Yeah,
docu-series
yeah.
or a documentary. That's where like that's my like happy place. If I'm gonna
Any in
watch a show,
particular?
I'll rewatch The Sopranos, Breaking Bad. Those are like my two favorite. I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. The last season didn't love, but it was still
Yep.
better than what's out there. But documentaries, I love like a good documentary. I did like the recent one, The Gambler and His Cowboys, bringing me back to the 90s, like football
Oh,
nostalgia,
yep.
Jerry Jones.
Yep.
I thought it was really well done. I like, I like that, like honestly, like the cult, the psychopathic type
Oh, yeah.
documentaries. So like,
Yep.
some of my favorites, like the Jenks, Fred, like the Durst guy, Making a Murderer, Ruby Frank, the devil within the home. The recent one out that came out with the lady, the mother that was like trying to sleep with like sending all those text messages, like with the daughter. Um,
I
but
don't watch
yeah,
a
like I
lot of
like that,
these.
like
I
I
watched
guess
one on HBO about him, the Morticians or something. It was very good. A
I don't mind
documentary.
Wednesday. Like I'll get into a little Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of. I don't love it. Like, but I have trouble with like committing to a series and like I don't like Peaky Blinders I liked.
Same.
I wish I could give like current relevant shows that I like love. Sirens was like a mini series on Netflix with Julianne Moore, excuse me. Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon. I thought that was pretty good. I was
Yeah.
able to binge it, take it in, kept my attention. I think
Excellent.
Julianne Moore's talented. Um, but they don't make shows like they used to.
Well, and also, it's hard for you to watch much TV and movies when you're in spaces every night for 4 hours. So it's
Yeah.
probably
So I
hard to do.
again, like this isn't going to be like the spaces thing with me is I was new. I was like, "Oh my God, I got thrust into this and here I am." And I need to now reassess how I manage my time. But yeah, you can't binge TV and be in spaces. Not that I plan on spending my life in spaces. I do have a life outside of all this, but yeah.
I find with spaces, you just got to be in the right frame of mind, and it's fine to dip in and out, but they can suck you in. Anyway, what have I been watching? So there's the new show, The Paper, the Office
Hmm.
spin-off. I've been quite enjoying that. I'm sort of halfway through the first 10 episodes, and it's been amusing so far. It certainly isn't a bad comedy, so I'm going to stick with it. But also, when the paper was released, I found on was just released in Australia. There's something called the Office Superfan episode. So this is the US Office. They've gone back and they've recut the original episodes and they've
Ooh,
added in the missing scenes.
I
So
love that. I'll
so
love that.
they've gone from like 20 minutes to like half an hour, 35 minutes. Because I was going to go back through and watch I bought the box set. I was going to watch the episodes and deleted
Such a good
scenes,
show.
but they've kind of cut it all together. Yeah, my favorite show. So I'm now rewatching the Superfan episodes. This is done by some of the makers of The Office, and then they go to Greg Daniels and he approves all the episodes. So it's almost like completely different versions. And, I've had to sort of
I didn't know about this. I love
I've had to
this.
like recalibrate because they're not like the episodes you remember. They add so much. So I've been watching them. Um,
That's a good one.
Saw a few good movies. I saw Splitsville last night. I gave that 3 out of 5 stars on Rotten Tomatoes. The thing that carried that, they just have two incredibly hot leads in Adria Arjona and Dakota Johnson. I saw The Roses with
Yep.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. That was very funny. And if you've been divorced like me, or bitter and twisted about relationships, then it is perfect for you. And a bit of a left field one. It was Father's Day here last Sunday. So I watched K-pop Demon Hunters with my kids. And it is actually very good. It's very good animation, good music. I can see why it's the #1 streaming movie ever. It had the trifecta: #1 streaming movie ever, top at the US box office, and it had 4 singles, I think, in the top 10 music for the first time since Saturday Night Fever. So
What's the Joaquin Phoenix one out right now about the COVID pandemic that's getting a lot of buzz?
Eddington. I didn't
Yeah,
love it.
that's on
It
my
was
radar. I want to see that.
yeah,
I'm a
it didn't
Joaquin.
land for me. It was a bit well, you'll like it then. It was a bit slow for me, but
Yeah. Like, did you like Oppenheimer, for example?
I did. Maybe not quite as much as Kirk did, but I did
Yeah, like
enjoy it.
I'm totally zoned into that for 3 hours straight
Yeah.
because it's history and it's based on like I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But The Office is amazing, and I'm gonna check that out because I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
That
Super
plays
fun.
back so well.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What about Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Do you watch that? Did you watch that?
no, no.
Yeah. I tried, and then I'm like, it's so deep. Like, I can't commit. It's too much.
Yeah, I just don't. I just didn't. The humor didn't land with me.
Yeah, I hear you.
All righty. Well,
I
guess
appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time and
thanks for coming on. So let's make this official. Would you go in to Bitches Week or any other time if asked?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if Kirk doesn't have a strong like outwardly spoken opposition to it, for sure, I'd be interested in doing it for sure.
Because I wanted to do Bitches Week. There's yourself. There's Mama Cait. There's Julie. Who else? There's not many Minna ladies out there. I think Kirk can be biting in his criticisms.
He's probably going to be miserable that day. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of his worst nightmare.
Yeah, but also, there's other Minna ladies.
Though.
There's other Minna ladies that want to come on for Bitches Week. If you want to come on Minifandom and just, shoot the shit. Yeah. I mean, I do think the network is a good breeding ground for people that maybe want to go on the show, just to dip your toe in the water first, get some airtime, go for a bit of a spin, so to speak.
Yep. Mama K's definitely been around for a while, huh? With
she's been an OG Minna lady. I met her in 2022. Fantastic Minna fan.
That's good.
So if those listening, there's some great Minna fan content on the network. We've got a new episode of Billboard Rewind. There's Billboard Chart Go show, so a couple of great music shows. Minifandom's back. So that's about it that's happening on the network right now. Actually, Time Out Talks is back. Josh has been doing some great stuff. We've been getting into the football season. So there is a lot happening on the KMS network. And, if you want to be involved, reach out. Always happy to have new people on the network. We've got NFL stuff. So, get in touch. Next week, there'll be a new show with Billboard Chart Guy, and he's got a good guest on. So he's got PRC Coleman on his show.
I'm a fan.
All right, Cait. Well, great to chat to you. Great to
chat to you, too. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming on. You're a delight.
You're a lot of fun.